Good evening, sim racing fans, and welcome to America's Racing Showplace live tonight on iRacing Live. It's LSRTV night, and we'd like to welcome you into the Live Sim Racing TV's continuing coverage of the United Sim Racing Truck Series Chase for the Championship, presented by B&C Lawn and Landscaping Services and in association with Simlutions. From the virtual Bristol Motor Speedway, this is race number 7. It's the Food City 200, and hello once again. I want to thank all of you for joining us here tonight, and joining myself, of course, Andy Kessler up here in the booth. We have Austin Coop and Cisco Scaramuzza getting those pictures to you down track side. Austin, we move on after last week's Texas race. We move on now. Everyone has done their battle in those first 6 races for that Simlution play seat, and Jamie Walker, of course, coming home with that after dominating fashion last week at Texas. He gets the win in race number 6, and for Jamie Walker, picked up his 2nd win of the season. As we look at last week's results, Jamie Walker obviously picking up that win. Tim Matthews came home 2nd in that race. A strong effort. He's 2nd in the points as well. We'll look at that in just a moment. Trace Baines finished 3rd. Cody Gibson came home 4th, and Tyler Herr had a fantastic race, coming home in the 5th spot. Aaron Bennett, Christopher Hurlow, Scott Simley, Tom Dryling, and Paul Fugate rounded out last week's top 10 championship standings so far through the 6 races. No surprise thus far, Jamie Walker has put the laps down here so far on this season. 340 laps led in the 819 that have been run in this season so far. An average start of a 1.7. It's the average finish, though, that's really getting the job done for him so far now. A 4. He's averaging finish place is 4th on the season right now. 11 points separate him and Tim Matthews. Tim Matthews having a fantastic season as well. Just can't quite get to victory lane. Hasn't done so, at least just yet, and that has been the difference so far in the championship standings. Christopher Hurlow rides in 3rd place now, 23 points out. Aaron Bennett, 2 wins himself on the season, sits there in 4th, 27 back, tied now with Greg Mall for 4th place in the standings, though. Austin, this is one of those fun racetracks that we get to come to quite a bit. Not so often. Some leagues like to stay away from. Other leagues welcome this place. Bristol Motor Speedway. It's one of those high-banked, fast, half-mile ovals. The last great Coliseum is what they like to call this place. And it can make for some interesting racing. It can make for some tempers to be had out here as well. Very tight quarters as they race through this track at a rather high rate of speed as well, all obviously through these quarters. But through the quarters, you got the top side, you got the bottom side. Typically, the top side prevails, but you can see them use that bottom side. The problem is coming off these corners when you're running side by side, it can get pretty treacherous, and that's where we tend to see most of our problems here.
Oh, this is definitely one of my favorite racetracks. Not just to race, but to watch, and I'm really excited to cover this with you, Andy. Definitely one of the most notorious tracks for the chrome bumper and some anger, or maybe not just anger, but frustration. I think that's the biggest thing about this track is frustration with some of the drivers, and you get about 24 of these guys in a room together or on the track together, and you put them with almost a one-line groove. The bottom will come in eventually throughout the race, but for the good, early portions of the race, it's going to be a high groove race. And when everyone's trying to do the same thing, and you might have a guy faster behind you, you're going to hold him up, and he's not going to be too happy. He may push you up into the outside wall, and you're going to have damage quickly. It's a long race, and these guys have to remember that getting into the wall early isn't going to ruin your race. It may ruin your mood for a little bit, but you got to keep going. You got to keep trucking on. That's what this racetrack's really all about. Is definitely keeping your foot forward and keep going through all the racing, because there will be probably a few cautions tonight, as we expect that at these short tracks. Hard racing and hard bumping gets to that, but get your car back in shape and hopefully be at the end. But how many cars do you think at the end of this are going to have a damageless race car here, Andy?
There's not going to be many at all with this place. It's one of those, you got to be patient to be fast. You got to be slow, really, to be fast as well. You got to take it easy getting into the corners. You really want to set yourself up for corner exit middle through the corner and off is definitely where you'll get your speed. That's where you'll make your passes as well, too. So we'll keep that all in mind here. Qualifying is underway, just about over, about 3 minutes still left to go in the qualifying session. Of course, you look at the top of the board right now, Jamie Walker doing what he's done all season long so far, sitting there right now provisionally with the pole position with a 14.790, a little bit slower than his practice run here so far. And you look at Jamie Walker so far on the season in the 6 races, he's got 3 poles, looking for his 4th now out of 7 starts on the season. It's just been basically the Jamie Walker show. Apart from the 6-race winter series that we had, he's starting off this season at least right where he finished off in the previous one in the end of 2015, and he's definitely getting the job done, looking to go for another championship this season. Plenty of racing, though, still to go. This is only race number 7 of 30 on the season, so we got a long way to go through the summer months to get this done for all these drivers, and qualifying getting closer to being done now. 21 trucks have entered the show here tonight. We should be in for a great treat here at Bristol. 200 laps is the scheduled distance, and we'll get all that underway in momentarily. First, though, we'll send it down trackside for tonight's national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
I'd like to thank Jaden Berkey for that rendition of tonight's national anthem. Qualifying getting close to being finished, just about 40 seconds left. Looks like 17 drivers have taken a qualifying lap here this evening. 4 drivers choosing to take the provisional and start towards the back. Austin, though, when we talk about Bristol Motor Speedway, we talk about the speed, we talk about the short tracks, we talk about bumping and grinding and moving people out of the way. There's one main reason for that with this racetrack, and that's just the style of it and the I guess the layout of the land, as we call it, as we look at some of our track facts here. And this speedway, obviously, the high banks makes it definitely something different than, say, a Martinsville. The same distance around this place, but at the same time, it's just higher banked, it's faster speeds, and when you talk about that, you're talking 26 to 30 degrees, kind of a variable banking through the corners here. And then, of course, the straightaways, it really flattens out, which makes it a lot of fun. That's where you see these trucks start to get a little loose and sometimes tight off the corners, especially long into the runs here tonight. But one thing we shouldn't see, or we probably won't see, I should say, is the green flag pit stop. Typically, we won't see those here at Bristol, but you never know with a 20-truck field here tonight. This could get spread out, and we could see things go green for long distances. But with the qualifying time coming to a close, it's time to look at tonight's LSRTV starting lineup. And on the pole for the 4th time this season, Jamie Walker with a 14.790. Aaron Bennett will start to the outside on the front row. Paul Fugate, a great qualifying effort by him. He will roll off in the 3rd spot. 4th goes to Tommy Ryan, and Ashton Crowder will start 5th.
Scott Simley's going to start 6th. Cody Gibson 7th. Paul Madison is going to get his number 15 truck to 8th place starting position. Greg Mall is going to start 9th, and Chris Baines is going to start 10th.
The 91 of Steve Gottschalk will roll off in that 11th spot. 12th goes to Sal Liccardi. Brian Harvey will start 13th. Ricky Howell Jr. starts in that 14th spot. And the 34 of George Hendricks, he'll start 15th.
Todd Kirkwood starts 16th. Michael Preister starts 17th. Tim Matthews, first guy with the provisional, starts 18th. Brandon Coots starts 19th. Tom Dreiling starts 20th. And Stephen Herring starts 21st. Last car at the tail end of the field.
21 trucks getting set to do battle. This is LSRTV night right here on iRacing Live, and we'd like to welcome all of you that are tuning in, even though that the Sprint Cup Series race had been delayed and is going on right now. So all of you that are tuning in, we thank you for coming here and watching this. This should be a lot of fun here at Bristol. A couple pace car laps will be set now as the field starts to move from the starting grid. And any last thoughts here before we get this thing cranked up there, Austin?
Oh, this is I'm a short track racing kind of guy, and I'm really looking forward to these guys really picking up the pace in these corners. Something you talked about was that progressive banking. These guys are going to carry so much speed through these corners. There's a lot of hard racing in these corners that are going to happen every lap, and if you're not on the pedal every single lap, there could be a good chance that 15, 16, maybe 20 laps, if you're not on it, you may be lapped, especially if you're behind a guy who's that's way slower than you. You have to try and navigate your field if you're in the back, like a Stephen Harling or a Tom Dreiling. You have to get to the front as quick as possible.
You're absolutely right on that as the field goes through turns 1 and 2 for the final time before we get the green flag here tonight. We'd like to thank, obviously, B&C Lawn and Landscape for all of their support this season for the USR Truck Series, and, of course, Sim Lucians, another proud partner of the Truck Series here at United Sim Racing. Well, it's about that time. We're about ready to get set and get underway. 200 laps here at Bristol, a half-mile speedway, 100 miles set to go here tonight. Pace car now down to the safety of pit road, and the green flag is out. Not wasting any time on the start. Jamie Walker pulls out to a commanding 3-truck length lead now as they head to turn number 1. Looks like a little connection issue troubling that 45 of Paul Fugit, and he will actually settle back down now. It looks like about into the 5th spot now, as the top 2 guys have really pulled away back into 1.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of guys take some bold moves on the bottom, but that bottom line, like we talked about earlier, is not where you want to be. You really want to get to the top side as quickly as possible. The shortest is the quickest, or is the shortest way around. The bottom is the shortest way around, but the top is the fastest top, line around. By the time I said that, there was already a lap that went by. That's how fast they're going around this track, guys. And that's something to remember. I'm watching that 27 car of Paul Fugate. We just talked about him. He was being courteous and let the guys on the top know that, hey, I'm having these issues with my connection, and I'm going to give you guys the top. And he's going to probably relegate himself back to the top, and he doesn't. He doesn't slam the door just quite yet, but he needs to get back up there to the top to get that speed.
He absolutely does. Top 2, though, really separating themselves quite a bit here. They were 2nd and 4th fastest in practice, respectively, and they've been 1st and 2nd since the drop of the green flag. Jamie Walker leading laps, doing what he does best all season long. He's still getting the job done here early on as we work lap number 6. Got a whole bunch of them left to go. Tommy Ryan sitting in that 3rd spot, almost 2 seconds off the race lead now. He separated himself from Scott Simley as well, who sits 4th. 5th is Paul Fugate, who finally got everything all squared away. He fell back a couple positions now. First side-by-side action, though, is that 2 of Ricky Howell Jr. He's on the inside of Cody Gibson. Gibson, though, not letting him get away too far here, using that momentum on the top side. And he's going to continue that off of turn number 4.
These guys are being pretty nice. I could see a lot of room for some guys to slide up out of turn 2, like right there. I'll take that back. That number 2 car of Ricky Howell, he really slammed the door on the top side, almost like a slide job move. That was really a fantastic move for him to do right there. I take that back, though. They do need to start thinking about their position, because look at the guys at the very end of the field. They're 9 seconds back already.
Yeah, it doesn't take long at all. They're already half a lap behind our race leader right now, which is Jamie Walker, and he's starting to spread the gap just a bit now, 7/10 over the 33 of Aaron Bennett. Both of these guys 2-time winners so far in the first 6 races, so both of these guys obviously knowing how to get to victory lane, and both of them doing what they can right now. Jamie Walker, though, he's on a rail at the moment. He's pushing that now almost to a second lead here as we work lap number 11, and we'll complete it that time by working lap number 12. 189 laps left to go here in this one. They go pretty quick. We talk about that. They're running about 15-second laps right now. As the tires fall off, though, and we get later into a run, we'll definitely see the times start to drop. Tires will become a premium as this race goes on, but at the same time, you got to remember track position is key as well, as all these guys wanting to be, the closer you are to the front, the better opportunity you have. And we're watching a side-by-side battle now for that 10th spot. Salacardi, he's trying to get around Greg Mall here on the inside. He's going to push up the racetrack just a bit there. That'll give that 12 the advantage now. So Greg Mall trying to hold off these two drivers at the moment. He's able to get that spot there as the 39. Salacardi's kind of, we don't usually say the guys are stuck on the bottom. That's exactly what's going on right now for Sal.
Yeah, he did eventually get in there, and that's good for him. But there's a lot of two-wide battles that are going there. As you see the 27 and the 39 go into battle, he actually looks like he's preferring that bottom line, as he may actually get by. He might get by Ashton, but he got loose on the bottom right there, and that was a really good opportunity to get by him, but didn't quite make it stick. He probably would have if he wouldn't have got loose, but that 27 car just got into the wall. It's going to give him a good opportunity. If he slides up into 4, he can really make the move right here. Oh,
he does, right.
Flag waves.
Oh, and the caution out. Some damage to somebody out there. It looks like the 98, the 82 involved in this. Steve Herring in the 82 truck as well. Chris Baines involved in this one. Chris Baines shown 2 laps down right now, and it looks like he is the cause. Steve Herring just came into it at the last moment there. Caught some damage when he hit the 4 truck of Brian Cutts. So it looks like about 4 trucks involved, maybe 5 there. Tim Matthews in the 54. It was started with some contact of the 4 truck. Looks like Tim Matthews, our second place points leader right now, having some trouble. He decided to start in the back, and maybe that not had been the choice he should have made here tonight, starting in the back, trying to avoid the trouble, and it's going to cost him right there. Pit road's open. The leaders come down. They're looking for service. You might see some guys try a 2-tire stop to gain some track position. For most of the leaders, though, it'll be a 4-tire stop. It looks like 2 guys, 3 guys maybe. Ricky Howell Jr. as well. Going to take 2 tires only on that stop, so that's going to put Jamie Walker now a little further back on this next restart.
Yeah, if we have some short runs like we did that time, that's a good move for these guys, a 2-tire run, and they can see, this is really early to take tires, and so they're going to see how those 2 tires can bid for them against those 4 tires. Maybe later on in a run, they can see how it fares against those tires. That's a really good strategy for some of these guys, but they don't have that many positions. Paul Madison is only ahead of Jamie Walker, who took 4 tires by a single row. So he's going to have him breathing down his neck on the start. They did only run about 16, 17 laps right there, but that's a lot of laps on your left side tires, and those are the tires that keep you from spinning out. So look for these drivers to be a little bit loose up front. That 20 or that 2 car and that 15 car up front, without those new left side tires, they're going to be a little loose coming off, and that's going to be what the 17 is going to have to look for as he tries to navigate around them.
4 tires and being on the bottom side, while those guys probably fight for the top side, it might give Jamie Walker that opportunity he needs to get around him as quickly as possible here on this restart. Looks like the field's going to double up this time as the lights go out on the pace car. Not only are the laps fast, but the caution laps are fast as well. But typically out of Bristol, you will see cautions breed cautions at a racetrack like this. Now that everybody's got new and fresh tires and they feel like Superman, they'll get back out there, try to get as many positions as possible on this restart here. Paul Madison, 2 tires was the call for him. He started 8th. He sits in that top spot right now. Ricky Howell Jr. will start just to his outside on the front row. First one with 4 tires, that's Jamie Walker, and he's going to start 3rd here on this next restart. And it looks like we're going to go around at least one more time here. I think everybody doubled up a little bit earlier than I expected, but we'll get racing back underway in just a moment. 22 laps on the board right now. We will complete that one when we get the green flag. Rest of your top 5, Aaron Bennett sits there in the 4. Scott Simley is going to restart 5th. Look at Cody Gibson right there in the 7th spot on the inside row. look for him. He started in that 7th spot. We'll see if he can gain a couple more here on this opening thing. One thing to watch out as well when the green flag drops is maybe some tire spin out of these front 2 guys. We'll see exactly what will pertain right now as the pace car heads down to the safety of pit road. And we get our first American Ethanol restart underway. Pretty good jump right there by Paul Madison. He's going to take that top spot, top 2. Whoa!
Oh, he gets him a huge nudge.
Just drove it right in there, and the big advantage right there is going to be Jamie Walker, and that was a close one for your race leaders, but he's able to pass those 2 guys, and I don't know if Paul Madison just wasn't maybe up to speed going through that corner, or Ricky Howell wasn't paying attention there, but really got into that. Could have been real disastrous right there.
Oh, and the only guy who would not have been in that wreck is Jamie Walker. That was the perfect position for him to be in. And they would have slid up the track, and he would have went right under with those fresh tires. He could have done whatever he wanted to. Now, this is awful for those guys. They just got these new tires, only 2 new tires. Everyone behind them, and I mean everyone behind them, has 4 fresh ones. This is not good for them, as they're going to lose some. We got some contact on the front straightaway.
Yeah, Paul Fugate's around on the front straightaway. It looks like he will be able to get that thing pointed in the right direction there, but it looked like contact with the 91 of Steve Gottschalk off of turn number 4, and it doesn't take much right there, and we can see it, and luckily everyone else was able to get by Paul Fugate there, and we'll get ourselves our second caution of the night here now.
Yeah, that was a huge hit for Paul Fugate on that front nose. He's definitely going to have some issues. It's, you just see right there, he just gets tagged. He did come off the wall just a little bit, but it was more or less the tag that got him around. And as you see, that's some huge front-end damage, and he's going to be damaged for the rest of the night. There's two types of damage when you come to a short track like this. There's, your fenders getting a little rubbed off, and then there's some heavy damage, which he just received, and that is going to affect the performance of that car for the longer stages of the race. He's going to get his lap back for being behind the pace car, but it's still going to be hard for him to maintain speed, as that front end is caved in.
Caving in tremendously. A long race still left to go here. Our second caution of the night is underway at the moment. Nobody deciding to come down pit road. Looks like Brian Cutts will receive the wave around this time as he comes around the outside of all of our leaders. I'll put that 4 machine back on the lead lap. He is sitting in that 20th spot. Currently, Chris Baines is last on the board. He's 2 laps down, so still on the racetrack, though, as well. Everybody that has started still out there. Now, 1 reset is what these guys are allowed in this series, so for a lot of these guys, they might want to save it to the end. Other guys like Paul Fugate with all that damage, it might be wise to maybe use it here early on and just make sure there's no engine damage that could happen later on, maybe overheat and end up blowing the motor, because that will definitely put him out of contention even with the reset. So Jamie Walker, your leader, he was able to take that away from the top spot from that 15 of Paul Madison and Ricky Howell Jr. when they made contact going into turn number 1 on that restart just a moment ago. And Ricky Howell's been able to hold on to at least that second spot for the time being. Aaron Bennett, though, he'll restart in that 3rd spot and look for that 33 truck to make a move and get back up into that 2nd spot here off the restart.
I'm looking at that number 48 or that 45 of Paul Fugate. If I was him, and seeing the way the race has started, I would go in and get some damage repair and not get that lap back, because you're going to be the only guy a lap down. I think it would be really important to do that, but right now he's thinking the other. He's thinking, he needs his lap back, and maybe the caution will come out, and then he'll get his damage then. Oh, he is coming down, kind of like I said, he does need to get that damage fixed. I would have come down a lot earlier, though, but maybe pit road was closed to him. I'm not the pit road official. But yeah, like you said, that 33 is going to have a good opportunity with that too. Still only on 2 new right side tires. Definitely going to be a challenge for that 2 car to keep him down. And he's also, look who's right behind him, that 15 car. I didn't get any radio from either of those guys, but I'm sure that 15 is not too happy with the 2. I know it's early in the race, but we talked about tempers. We'll see if that 15 car has anything for that 2 in the corner, because that is the preferred line, and maybe that 15 has a little bit of a stronger car. We'll see what happens here. It might get a little interesting here, Andy.
Absolutely might. They're lined up nose to tail right now for this restart on the outside lane. Jamie Walker, though, will lead the field Do the green flag once again, just like he did on the initial start. Pace car down. Green flag is out. Top two now. It looks like the 33 is going to be able to get inside now of Ricky Howell Jr., who's going to try to take over that second spot. Ricky Howell, though, he's tough on the outside. Look at that momentum just kind of shoot him as he looks for the race lead now, as he goes to the inside now on Jamie Walker. Top side is going to prevail, though. Jamie Walker will lead that lap, but Ricky Howell Jr., he's not done yet.
Oh man, we've seen him, race like that before. Like, remember that last restart? That was a power move, and that's really what he wanted to do on that last restart. I don't know if he's gonna, if his tires are gonna like him too long if he keeps doing that. As I saw at least a little bit of smoke come out from that right rear of his. That's not gonna work for very long, Andy, and we know that. So he's got to let those tires cool off, because that was some hard charging he did, and he doesn't have the tires to really do that like these other guys. As he gets, the 39 got into the 2 car. That was Sal McCarty. We talked about him racing really well, but there's not going to be a caution. We see a lot of guys in the wall right now, guys.
Yeah, we do. 33 just tagged the wall. That's going to give that second spot back to Ricky Howell Jr. here this time by. You can see that 33 still's got a lot of speed. Made a mistake there coming off the corner, getting into the wall, and he will put himself back into that third spot right now. Scott Simley, he runs fourth right there in the picture as well, but Jamie Walker, he's pulled out to a half-second lead now over the rest of the field, and not looking back at this point. He wants to go and get out of the way and not be anywhere near any of those guys. It makes it tough, obviously, the way that 2 was racing him on that restart. With those 2 tires, you never know what's going to happen with that truck, and if he actually would have came up into him. So Jimmy Walker trying to do what he can to just get away at this point and set the pace for the race as we work. Lap number 38, we're about to complete it this time by. He will do that. We have about 162 laps still left to go in this race. We'll take a moment while we're green flag racing. We'll step aside. You're watching the United Sim Racing Truck Series right here on LSRTV, the voice of sim racing. Welcome you back here to Bristol Motor Speedway. You're watching the United Sim Racing Truck Series right here on LSRTV and iRacing Live. And I'd like to thank BNC Lawn and Landscaping Service based in Frankfort, Delaware. Check them out, BNC, for all your landscaping needs, including turf care, mulching, snow removal, and more. Professionally licensed and insured, contact Aaron Bennett at BNC or BC_lawn_and_landscaping at yahoo.com. Pretty big battle going on around that 5th spot. Tom Dreierling has taken over a couple of those spots here just a couple of laps ago. The 7 of Cody Gibson looking like he's having some trouble just a moment ago. Paul Madison doing a good job, though, hanging on to that 6th spot currently right now with those older left side tires. He's kind of bottlenecked the field up quite a bit. We noticed that when we went to the caution break, or to the commercial break there, Austin, that he's just fast enough on the outside lane to hold these guys off. But he's slow enough that he's causing the rest of them behind him to catch up, and it's making for some interesting close racing.
Oh, it was getting real interesting there for a little bit. We had some shoving down in the corners, and we had some guys really edge for the bottom, but he's actually doing a really good job. Him and Ricky are doing phenomenally well with those left side tires. I mean, they're really pulling that top lane, and if you have control of the top lane, no matter if you have those 4 tires, it seems that you can still get the job done up the top with 2 tires, and that surely shows for that number two truck of Ricky Howell Jr. He's definitely making that top side look easy with those 2 right side tires. Of course, he did start in that front row on that restart, but definitely 2 tires doesn't look that bad of a deal if you're going to start up front. That's something to put in your back pocket and remember to pull out later for whenever you have one of the final restarts of the race. Now, looking at the back of the pack and looking at the leader, there's only a couple of seconds in between them. We're about to start lapping some guys, and we talked about this before the broadcast, or before the race started, that this is going to be something to think about. I know some of these guys in the back are kind of, petering a little bit, not wanting to get into a wreck, but they got to start getting going.
Yeah, they definitely have to. We look at a battle going on right now. Paul Madison and the 27 of Ashton Crowder right now. A little bit of bumping through turns number 1 and 2 as they make their way down the backstretch and into 3 and 4. That's what we talked about just a moment ago. That 15 kind of slowing up the field just fast enough to stay in front of these guys, but not fast enough to hold them off, to say the least. Right now, Ashton Crowder all over his back bumper, trying to get around him. His caution is out on the speedway, and our third caution now of the night is underway, and it looks like maybe the 39 of Salacardi having some trouble. That's probably the second time I think that's happened to him. It is a spin. It looked like maybe some contact with the 45. Paul Fugate started that one there, but the 39 of Salacardi, second time he's spun around. This is the first time, though, it's brought out the caution there. Looks like he checked up just a little bit as they were going in, and then just some slight contact, door contact with the 45, and that'll put him down almost, looks like almost going down a lap here. So we'll see what'll happen there for that 39 there of Salacardi. But that's our third caution of the night, and like the field's gonna catch up to the pace car finally. And we'll see if these guys head down to pit road this time. It looks like a lot of them starting to point that direction right now as Jamie Walker looking to lead the field now. Everyone coming down pit road, and see if he's going to take it. He's been taking 4 tires the first time he came down. We'll see if anyone else does. Looks like Tom Dryerling in that 06, Cody Gibson as well, Ashton Crowder. Those guys deciding to stay out. Even the 15 of Paul Madison deciding to stay out on this time as well here. Lap number 58 in the works right now. So we're just over a quarter of the way through this one, approaching that halfway point rather quickly here. It looks like the 2 of Ricky Howell, 2 tires possibly again right there. So him and Salacardi possibly there. Actually, no, Sal might have been, it could have been a 4-tire stop, actually. I think they came down both together. That's just a good job right there for that 2 truck. His crew getting the job done, able to win that race off of pit road and beat that 17 truck back out onto the racetrack. A couple guys, though, like we mentioned, had decided to stay out. Tom Dryerling, one of those guys. Cody Gibson, Paul Madison, Greg Mall as well in that 12 decided to stay out. Ashton Crowder, looks like he came down pit road, but Steve Gottschalk's going to stay out as well, and it looks like Brian Harvey as well will stay out. So some of these guys deciding to take the track position. What that's going to do, though, is put Jamie Walker deep into this field, and it's going to be pretty interesting for the fastest guy on the racetrack tonight to try to drive through all these guys and get back up to the front.
This is when it starts to get a little hairy, I guess we could say. This is going to get really interesting, Andy. Not only because these guys are going to be slower, but because they're going to be a lot more. Their cars are going to be more ill handling. The trucks are going to be sliding a little more. They don't have left or right side tires. And that 15 truck, he doesn't have either he doesn't have the left side since the start of the race. So I don't know if it's such a good call for that 15 crew to do that, but he's in third, and he's up at the front again. I know that's really where he wants to be. It's obvious that he loves the track position more than he loves his tires, but we'll see if it pays off, because it really hasn't in those last couple. I mean, he stayed in the top 10, but you could tell he's been just clinging onto a thread here.
Absolutely has. Our guy who's led the most laps here on the night, 17 of Jamie Walker, is going to restart 11th as the pace car heads to the safety of pit road, and Tom Dryerling will now bring the field to the green flag We'll get back to racing here on lap number 61. 140 laps left to go here tonight, and Tom Jarling, he's pulled out to a 2-truck length lead now over Cody Gibson. Greg Mall now in the 12 truck sits third. Paul Madison slipped back one spot. He's now running in the fourth. And look at Steve Gottschalk. Just a moment ago was about to go a lap down before that caution, and now he finds himself in the top 5. So track position going to be key for a lot of these guys right now. Tom Jarling, he's not cleared so far by too far now. Cody Gibson, he's right there ready to pounce on one mistake.
Here's the guy I'm looking at, Ricky Howell again. You know, he's the guy who was with 2 tires, just would go down in those corners. And you know what? It hasn't changed. The game plan for him has not changed. Anytime he's going in a corner, he just dive bombs it. I mean, I'm watching him every lap, and it seems it's just nonstop. As he gets really close to that 66 truck, he's going into that corner as hard as he can. And it seems to be working for him. I mean, I talked about how it might be eating up his tires, and it may not be as much as I think. I mean, he's getting so far up that track, he's almost forcing these guys to get out of the throttle. They're scared that he's going to run them into the wall. I know I would be if I was that 6 car, because that's getting really close. But you know, then again, they haven't taken tires, and they're still beating them off the corners. I'd get in line and wait a little bit for those tires to fall off some of these guys, because he has the better tires. He can wait a little bit longer for these moves. I think as the 17 is coming into the picture, and he's on the outside, and that's really where he's been the whole time.
Absolutely has, but this has been the first time that these guys have been back in traffic. Continue trying. It's so hard to pass when you got that one lane, basically that one fast lane up on the top side. Makes it very difficult to get the passes done here. As you can see, that 68 of Scott Simley now looking to the inside of Ricky Howell was not going to work, and now he's going to leave that outside lane open to Jamie Walker. He'll close the door, though, that time, and Jamie Walker, he restarted 11th. He's only made up one spot since this restart. It's a close battle right in front of him. Ricky Howell almost coming up into Tommy Ryan in that 6 truck. He'll go back to the top side, and it makes you think, makes you wonder, and makes you second guess yourself the way these trucks drive off of the corners like that, especially when you're on the bottom and you're trying to get all that speed you can, but it just basically forces you up to the top side, the banking of the track and the way these setups are. So it makes it real tough to battle side by side like they do, especially for more than a couple laps.
Yeah, this battle is getting a little tiring watching that 2-car dive it in every time. But somebody I really want to watch, and somebody who's kind of getting knocking on the door of 3rd place, that's Paul Madison in that 15 car, who hasn't taken left side tires since the beginning of the race. He's doing some really good work on that 12 machine of Greg Mall, and you know his tires, they took a break for that caution, but you got to think he's going for that 3rd place now out of 3 or a 2. Oh, it doesn't mean anything because we got another caution.
Caution for the 4th time on the racetrack, and it looks like it might have been the 17 of Jamie Walker that brought out that caution there, and looks like just some contact with the 68 of Scott Simley coming off of turn number 4, and they made some contact. That just shows you pushing up the racetrack like that, and that caused him a little kind of a lazy spin there. Not too much damage to that 17, but they'll be able to keep it going here, and just have to restart from the back of the field once again. So caution for the 4th time here tonight. Tom Jarling continuing to lead. He's led since that last restart, stayed out. Now he comes down to pit road along with the rest of the field, and he'll get service done to that truck. Looks like 4 tires and fuel for the 06 of Tom Jarling, and he'll start making his way down the pit lane. And look at Ricky Howell Jr., a good stop by his crew as well, and Tommy Ryan making his way out as well. Cody Gibson looks like fell back a few spots there on that pit stop, so a little slower on pit road, maybe getting some damage fixed that was on that back end of that truck there. Cody Gibson, we'll see this time who is scored as our race leader, but it looks like it probably will be the 17 truck. Nope, he's going to come in this time now, so looks like Paul Fugate looks like he will be. No, he's going to get a lap back here in the wave round. So they'll put Tommy Ryan in that 6 truck, scored as your race leader. Ricky Howell Jr., he's going to restart 2nd. That's going to be one guy to watch here on this restart. He's been very aggressive on the restarts. He's going to start in that outside lane, so this might be bode well for that 2 truck now.
Oh yeah, I once I saw him get into that 2nd position from the everyone going to pit road. I knew from the get-go that he's definitely going to be charging for that front spot, whether it be on the top or whether it be on the bottom. We've seen him charge into these corners so hard, and he's the only guy who's doing it. So, but he's making some ground. So he's trying the thing that no one else is trying, and it's kind of working for him. And I don't blame him for trying it either, because you gotta try something different in order to trying to defeat that top line, especially when that top line is basically the only line to go if you want a good clean run. It doesn't seem like he's interested in a clean line. He just wants to get to the front. You know, doesn't matter what. You know, he's going to dive that car in there. Hopefully those tires stick, and that's going to be his plan, I think, from the rest of the race out. Talking about Jamie Walker and all these guys who have spun on the front straight, though, they basically all hit the same spot. I just want to point that out. It's a little weird that we've all been getting out of 4, so definitely look for 4 in these guys pushing up, because we've seen a lot of guys, you know, push up in 4. Not as much in 2, but definitely in 4, and everyone's been hitting that that inside wall of the front stretch. So yeah, definitely look for that spot to be the bane of the rest of the race.
Absolutely. And how about Simlutions, the makers of everything you need for your rig and more esports racing and simulation solutions? Simlutions has got you covered with news, builds, and more. Like them on Facebook at facebook.com/Simlutions. And, of course, they are the proud sponsor of the Playseat racing rig that Jamie Walker won after leading the points after race number 6 last week at Texas. And he did it in style, dominating that race and getting the win and getting the most points, a total points night for him. Pace car, though, back down to the safety of pit road. This time Tommy Ryan will lead the field to the green flag, and he gets a pretty good jump right there. He snookers that 2 truck on the restart, and they'll work their way through 1 and 2 now. Look at that 2, though. He's looking for more off of turn number 2. He's looking to the inside now with Tommy Ryan, trying to get that race lead, but he's trying to do it the hard way.
Hey, he didn't do it the hard way.
Whoa!
6 cars in the wall, and we got a bunch of guys scattering everywhere like ants. My goodness. That 6 car, that's really unfortunate for that team, because he was in the lead when that happened. It wasn't like he was in the middle of the pack, and it was, thank goodness it wasn't, because that would have been mass chaos if that happened. But definitely that car needs to get right back on the right track. I don't know if he expected that track to side up so much, or whether he's trying to give room to the 2 car, but definitely a little bit of a mistake going into that corner, and that's going to set him back quite a bit there, Andy.
Yeah, I think he misjudged the corner exit right there for Tommy Ryan. That'll put him back a few spots now, back to that 6th spot. Battle for 3rd, though. Greg Mall on the outside. And you got Cody Gibson now looking to the inside, trying to take that spot away from him. Just behind him, though, Aaron Bennett, who started this race in the 2nd spot, has finally moved his way back up into the top 5. So look for him to try to make some more moves here to get around a couple more guys. Cody Gibson, though, having some trouble right in front of him, getting around Greg Mall. That's going to leave that outside lane open. Here comes Aaron Bennett trying to get that spot. They almost touched right there down the straightaway, and they'll settle things out now, but it looks like it'll give that 33 the advantage on the outside. Now Tommy Ryan battling back, trying to get another spot as well, as Cody Gibson's now basically stuck on that inside lane as Aaron Bennett gets around him, and now Tommy Ryan does as well. That's 4th, 5th spot there. That moves at 7 to Cody Gibson, at least for the time being, battling for that 5th spot. Aaron Bennett now just ahead of him. He looks to take over that 3rd spot as he starts getting racy with Greg Mall. It's going to slow him down, though, quite a bit. Gives that outside lane back to the 6th, Tommy Ryan, and Tommy Ryan will get that spot back. Cody Gibson now looking to get that spot back as well. So just like that, Aaron Bennett up to 4th and battling for position. Now he's going to find himself outside the top 5 in 6th.
Yeah, those front 2 are definitely pulling away from the rest of the field. They're about 1.8 seconds, and I don't know if it's just the front 2 syndrome, but the front 2, no matter what run they're on, typically have just really ran away with it. Tom Dreiling is losing a little bit on Ricky Howell, but I think if this goes for a long run here, Andy, I think that 06 is going to start bringing Ricky Howell in, just because of how smooth the 06 truck is going. I'm watching him about every lap, and he's a lot smoother in the corner. He's running a very consistent line through it. That 2 is definitely faster, but he's just going up the hill a little bit more, then getting the gas a little bit more. He's able to stick towards the bottom currently, but I would look for that '06 car to reel him in, as they got a second on the whole field while I was talking about it, instead of 1.6 or 2.6 ahead of him now. So definitely those two are the ones to watch, as the '06 looks like he's actually going to bring him in a little bit. He's going to take out a little bit of about half a tenth here, so this is going to be a battle to watch here soon as the race goes on. And also, they started 20th and 14th, so a huge charge by those two.
Definitely was for both of those guys. Pretty good battling going on still around that third on back here, as the 12 of Greg Mull has pretty much solidified himself in that third spot. But it's been a battle amongst the next four drivers over the last few laps here, as Cody Gibson runs in that fourth spot. Aaron Bennett just behind him. Tommy Ryan sits in that sixth spot right there, but a lot of good racing now. Look at Cody Gibson going for that third spot, trying to do it on the inside lane. Greg Mull says, I don't think so, takes it over that spot once again. It's just so tough to pass on that bottom side, and you can see right there how much these trucks just basically bind up on the bottom side trying to come up the racetrack. Look at Aaron Bennett now race around the outside of Cody Gibson. That'll make him lose another spot right there. So you go and try to make a move with all these guys behind you. You try to make that pass to the inside. You end up losing a couple spots. We've been seeing that the last few times, probably over the last 20 laps or so, as we approach that halfway point of this race, just about 6 laps from that point as well. Ricky Howell Jr. continuing to lead. That gap is closing. It's very slow closing, but Tom Dryerling definitely reeling him in. I think, like you said, that smoother line that he's running definitely going to save his tires on the long run, and if this thing stays green, I definitely think you'll see this '06 of Tom Dryerling as we go on board with him now, and you can just see how close these guys get to that wall, especially through the center of the corner there. So just trying to, basically you drive it in, you let it coast, and then you just crank that wheel to the left and you hammer that gas, try to get everything you can coming off, and that's where you get your speed. I talked about that in the pre-race show, is center off from the corners, both ends of the speedway. That's definitely where you gain all of your time and all of your speed on these guys. 4 seconds now the top two have over third place Greg Mull and the rest of those guys that are all chasing him down right now for that spot. Tim Matthews, I'm looking back a little bit further, in 11th spot there. He's battling hard right now with that 66, trying to do it on the inside lane as well. So making it so much tougher right now to get the job done as they continue the battle side by side.
Yeah, as we approach halfway, definitely these front two, they're almost kind of stalemating at the moment. They're about running the same groove right now, and I think the '06 has gotten a little more aggressive we did kind of talk about how he was running a smooth line. I think now he's starting to be a little more aggressive, knowing that he has a little more speed as we approach lap cars as well. You know, they're pulling away, and they're going to start lapping these guys pretty quick. And I'm curious about these guys at the back. They're going to lose. Oh, we lose to the '06. He's in the wall on the inside.
Caution should be coming out, and there it is as the rest of the field comes around. So Tom Dryerling bringing out our 5th caution of the night here. He was running in that 2nd spot, and it comes right at the halfway point of this race. So we'll run you through that full field rundown after pit stops as the replay goes up on your screen. And Tom Dryerling just into the wall there off of the corner, off of turn number 4. And again, once again, it's turn number 4 that Calamity Corner had to spend all night long here. And that '06 just maybe pushing the issue a little bit on corner exit. Gets up, hits the wall, and ends up spinning himself out down the front straightaway. And wasn't sure if the caution was going to come out. If he started going right there, he might have been all right. But once the field starts coming around, that's when they throw the caution just to make sure nobody gets into him there. So just a 1-truck spin there off of the corner, and it looks like everybody will... Oh. Like 2 trucks stayed out on the racetrack, but everybody else coming down pit road trying to get service done to their vehicles here now. Jamie Walker, one of those that decided to stay out that last time, the 64 as well, staying out on the racetrack. That's Michael Priester doing what he can to get some track position after starting 17th. So look for him to do that. The 82 of Chris Baines, he's trying to get another lap back here. It looks like only one driver. The 64 is going to come down pit road this time, and 82 as well. So one truck off the pace, 1 lap down. That's Chris Baines in the 82. We just mentioned him. And then we got 1 truck that has retired from this race already, and that was the 77 of Todd Kirkwood. He's 38 laps down right now at the moment. Well, we're under caution. It looks like most of these guys are going to do what they can right here. It looks like Tom Trialing coming. I don't know what he was doing right there. Took the cone out, but anyway, it's that time. We're halfway through this race, and while we're under caution, we'll go ahead and run you through our iRacing Midway race break. Send it to you, of course, by iRacing.com, and of course BNC Lawn and Landscape Service, based out of Frankfort, Delaware. Jamie Walker currently leads this race. Cody Gibson scored in the second spot. Greg Mall is third. Fourth is Ricky Howell Jr. Aaron Bennett is fifth. Sixth goes to Paul Madison. Sal Accardi has rebounded from a lap down. He is currently running seventh. Eighth is Scott Simley. Steve Gottschalk is ninth, and Brian Harvey rounds out the top 10.
Tim Matthews is in 11th. Ashton Crowder is in 12th. Paul Fugate is 13th. He's going to be having a little bit of a comeback here. George Hendricks is 14th. Steve Herring is 15th. Brandon Cutts is 16th. He was almost lapped down right there, guys, so watch him. He's a bit slow. Michael Priester is in 17th. Tommy Ryan, 18th. First lap down. Chris Baines and Tom Dreiling is another lap down. Watch those two for that lucky dog, because they're both a lap down, and Tom Dreiling definitely has the car to be up front. So look for him to try and pass Chris Baines on this restart and take control of that lucky dog spot.
That has been your iRacing Midway race break. For more information on the wide variety of racing possibilities on the web, visit iRacing.com and sign up today. Well, it's been that point. We're halfway through this. Now we got to start to count the laps down here. As this time by, we got 95 to go. Make it 94 when they get the green flag possibly here. So we're closing in on that. This race has gone by pretty quick. The laps do tick off rather at a fast pace here, but we've still had our fair share of action and drama here going on so far this race. But back up front, Jamie Walker looking to lead the field back to the green flag, and that he does. A pretty good jump for him. He'll jump out to the outside lane. 3 truck lengths now ahead of Cody Gibson. The side-by-side battle is for third right now. Look at Greg Mall now making a side-by-side battle for second. Is there 2 rows side-by-side, 2 rows deep, and these guys are getting it done here off of turn number 4.
Yeah, Cody was really looking for a better restart there. As you can see, he's closing in on that 17. We know he's damaged from that first incident, and maybe he just doesn't have the power anymore, but the 7 car's on the bottom of that 17 truck, and he may make the pass here out of 4. It's getting pretty close, but not too far behind him. That's that 2 car of Ricky Howell. He gives him the bump. He gives him the chrome horn. He wants to go now, guys, and I don't think it's going to be too far before he tries to go to the top. I don't know where he's going, but he's really
He's
fast,
all over the
guys.
place tonight.
Yeah, he's all over the place in that Toyota number 2 truck. But he's going to probably give him the chrome horn again if he doesn't go to the inside of that 7 truck of Cody Gibson. He's going to try and take him out of turn 4. He's not going to quite make the pass, but he's going to be there all night. He's looking at the bottom there, Andy. This is a good fight.
Absolutely, it's a good fight. Jamie Walker with those older tires, it's cost him a few positions. He's back to the 4th spot right now. Seems like he's got that held on pretty good as they battle side by side just behind him. But that battle for the race lead, it ain't over yet. Ricky Howell Jr. again looking to the inside and off of turn number 2. He's going to make it pretty close there, coming off the corner and almost making contact with Cody Gibson. It's just so hard to pass on the bottom. But I'll tell you what, that 2 truck, he won't give up on it. He knows he can make it eventually. He'll wear that guy out on the top, and he'll slide up in front of him just like he did right there. Kind of killed the momentum a little bit just for a moment for Cody Gibson. That's going to allow that 2 truck now to get that race lead, and he will take it over now by a truck length lead as they cross the start-finish line and put 113 in the books. We continue to motor on here. Aaron Bennett is caught up to these top 2 guys as they were racing side by side. Now in that 3rd spot looking for more.
Yeah, definitely the 2 car. If anyone's going to be able to pass on the inside at this point in this junction, it's going to be him. But interesting enough, Sal Accardi, Jamie Walker, and Paul Gibson, 3 guys who have been really quite the guys who have been at the top of the board, and the 39 and the 17 guys who have had damage are back in the top 5. This just shows you that maybe the damage that I talked about wasn't as substantial as I had thought initially, but 39's really pushing up heavy, and he's doing some really hard work right now. He's definitely reeling some of these guys in as he takes about a tenth from the guys in front of him. He's losing the leaders, but he's definitely still getting the guys in front of him as the battle behind them rages on, and it's getting good as we have the 15 on the apron. He shoots up the track, but he's going to lose some spots here, guys.
Going to lose some spots, just maybe.
Not
Well, Greg
quite.
Mall now looks to the inside of him. He'll keep the momentum up on the outside. Paul Madison trying to hang on to that spot. Jamie Walker doing a good job in fifth, at least for the time being, with those older tires, but it's going to be a matter of time. I think just like the 15 did early on with the old tires, he was just fast enough to keep those guys behind him running that top side, and we can see right now Jamie Walker trying to do the same as well. He's just falling off the race lead by almost 2.5 seconds now. Look at the 15. They'll drive it off the corner, turn number 4 real hard right there. It'll pull him even now with the 17 of Jamie Walker, and they'll continue to do battle down the back straightaway.
They've been battling for about 10 laps now, Andy, and then you just got to wonder when that bottom line is going to stop surging as much as it is for Paul Madison. I mean, he's not really losing that much, but he's not really gaining that much. It's quite interesting because we know Jamie Walker has a little bit of damage and he's not able to be as fast, but he does have those fresh tires. And we know Paul Madison. I wasn't paying attention to his last pit stop, but I can guarantee you he's probably at least still gambling a little bit, as we have the 12 car who did take tires, and he's wanting these two to stop fighting and just get around both of them because he knows he can. That 12 car is very capable of that, and so are the guys behind him. As he's gonna try and charge him. He's gonna be very respectful as he gets in the wall a little bit, but not too much of a hindrance at this track, but definitely something that's gonna give him a little bit of hardship through the next couple of turns, as he does lose a spot right here to that 68 truck of Scott Simley.
Got Simley doing it the hard way on the bottom side. Gained one more spot there as he slides up in front of the 12 of Greg Mall, and all these guys trying to get their job around. Look at Paul Madison now to the inside of Jamie Walker. It looked like Jamie Walker was talking to these guys over the radio, maybe saying, "I'll let these guys go." He's really stacked up the field behind him. They've all caught up to that 17 truck rather quickly. It's just so hard to pass, and they're even showing it right now that 15 just cannot get around him right now on that bottom side, even with the fresh tires. So the battle for that 5th spot just continues to go on and on. Scott Simley right there on the back bumper. It's so frustrating for these drivers, and that's why you see the chrome horn come into play a lot when you come to Bristol. It's because when you are faster than that guy, you just can't get around them because they're taking that lane that you need, and that exactly is what's happening right now to Scott Simley. It's the 17 of Jamie Walker. He's just fast enough to keep it up on the outside, and he's been able to at least maintain that position for now, but it's really jumbled up the field now as they've all started to close in.
Yeah, they've lost about 4 seconds since the last restart, and if I was at 68, I'd be losing the thing that you talked about most in pre-race, and that's patience, as he is losing a little bit of patience right now. If I was at 68, I would do something about it, and he did, and he's going to try and take them both. It's a 3-wide fight. Oh my goodness. 3 wide, and they're making it work, but it's not going to work for long. Paul Massey is down. He wrecks the 12 car of Greg Mall, but there's no caution just yet. There it is. That wasn't going to work now, was it, Andy?
Caution. As soon as I saw the 3 wide action with Scott Simley, I mean, the patience ran out absolutely right there for the 68 of Scott Simley. He went to go 3 wide right there, and it just basically they ran out of room as the replay goes up on your screen right now. And the 15 of the 15 of Paul Madison just ended up making contact and with the 17, and that caused all the drama. Pit road is open. Looks like the leader's heading back down, looking to get the fresh tires. Ricky Howell Jr. did a good job jumping out to the race lead, but towards the end of that run, right before the caution, Cody Gibson was closing the gap. So the 2 likes to drive it hard at the beginning, and it ends up at a racetrack like this, when we don't get those huge long runs, it definitely doesn't affect them too much, but definitely burns the tires off in the few opening laps of a run here. It looks like the 54 had a pretty good stop as well on pit road, so Tim Matthews getting some spots back, finally getting some track position and get himself back up and towards the top 5.
As we lose another cone, I'm not too what's the word I'm looking for? The 68 did not make a bad move there, in my opinion. Yeah, he may have instigated the situation that caused the wreck, but he didn't cause the wreck, and that's the most important thing. It was the 15 that got together with the 17, and he really benefited, and he really did need to get going too, because he knew if he waited too long, he might, if there wasn't a caution before the end of it, he would have, lost a lot of spots. And he has a really fast truck right now. I mean, you could tell just by the way he was racing his competitor. competitors right there. He looked like he had a little bit of a longer run truck as he was really passing the guys behind the 17 of Jamie Walker and the 15 of Paul Madison. But there's a lot of tension right now with these guys, and Andy, there's just a lot of tension, and they've lost their patience as you talk pre-race, and we kind of hit all the bullets right before the accident happened, which I thought that's kind of interesting.
It absolutely is. We work lap number 134 right now on the books, and we got about 67 laps left to go in this one here. We close in on the end of this race. Lots of action been on the racetrack all night long. That two of Ricky Howell Jr. right now is your leader. Tom Dryerling looking to get a wave around here. He should get it. Be the last truck on the lead laps in that 19th spot. Paul Madison now a lap down after that contact with the 17. That brought out our most recent caution of the night. I believe it's caution number 7, maybe, on the night.
Yeah, I think
we'll get word from our producer, Mr. Cisco, if he can give me the word on that and how many cautions so far tonight. 6th caution. All right, so I was one ahead of myself there. 12 lead changes. We got right now so far in this race. Been a good one on the night so far here at Bristol, the United Sim Racing Truck Series, and these guys have been getting it done here. Race number 7 of this 30-race season. Jamie Walker is your points leader coming in the night. 11 over that 54 of Tim Matthews. Tim Matthews right now going to restart in the 3rd spot, and restarting just behind him in the 5th spot. That's Jamie Walker, so we'll see what these guys can do here on this restart now. Pace car back down to pit road. Ricky Howell Jr. not wasting any time. He's on the gas right away. Pulls out to about a 3-truck length lead now over Cody Gibson. Tim Matthews now looking to take over that 3rd spot, but he's going to have a fast truck on the outside as Aaron Bennett now pulls up alongside for that battle for 3rd. It's going to be too much of a battle here. The fresh tires are going to be able to keep that 54 at least somewhat close for the time being. He's got a spot behind the 33 of Aaron Bennett. He could slide up at that point, and he does, right in front of Jamie Walker. So the top 5, 6, 7 guys now single file as they race their way off turn number 4.
Yeah, single file up until Salacardi. He just gets in line. It's that 6th car of Tommy Ryan. He's dropping back quite a bit. But I was watching that 68 car in that 17 of Jamie Walker and Scott Simley. They were running pretty hard, and the 17 of Jamie Walker has got a little bit of life towards the beginning of these runs. But if it's anything like the last run, he's gonna hold up that 68 truck again. And sometimes snake bites twice, and I'm watching that little green truck here from the top of the booth, and I'm watching him as he probably isn't going to be too happy with that 17 truck if he loses speed again like he did last time. But right now, Jamie Walker is doing a pretty hefty job on the back bumper of Tim Matthews, as you were just talking about him. He's trying to get around him just like the 68 is trying to get around him, as he's going to get a little bit to the inside, and he's going to try and make the move into 3.
Going to try to get that spot. That is the battle for the 5th on the racetrack right now. Scott Simley's on the inside, and Jamie Walker going to try to hold him off using that outside lane. He will for the time being. Scott Simley trying to make it happen, trying to pass the heart. When you can't get on the outside of the guy to get that run that you need off the corner, makes it real tough to pass, and we've seen that now from the 68 over the last probably 20 or 25 laps or so, right before that last caution as well. So all these guys trying to get it done. About a half-second lead, though, right now over Cody Gibson. That is for the 2 truck of Ricky Howell Jr. We're going to take our last commercial break here, so we approach 50 to go, and we're going to go LSRTV nonstop. You're watching the USR Truck Series right here on LSRTV, the voice of sim racing.
The 2016 iRacing World Championship Grand Prix Series is all about change. New teams, new drivers, new tracks, even a new logo. And oh yeah, there's a brand new car. After 5 years of competition, we say goodbye to the Williams FW31 and we say hello to the McLaren MP430. But this isn't just a brand new car. It's a whole new all game. And with it, we bring new excitement, new strategies, new technology. For example, energy recovery and drag reduction systems. There's a new way of thinking about racing, and for all the drivers participating, it's back to the drawing board, wiping the slate clean in the ever-consuming pursuit of perfection. One little slip-up, one wrong move on track, one poor strategy call, and it's over. That's the difference between coming up short and becoming champion, and being $10,000 richer to boot. So yeah, change is in the air, but we're going to start getting answers on the 27th of February as the 7th year of iRacing World Championship competition kicks off. And you won't miss a thing, with every single race live on iRacing Live, coverage brought to you by Racebot TV. So join us fortnightly from 1:30 p.m. GMT.
Welcome back to Bristol Motor Speedway, and just as we were during that commercial break on the non-stop, you saw the veteran move by Jamie Walker to let the 68 of Scott Simley go, and you see Scott Simley is actually pulled away from that 17, so obviously a little bit faster here in the late going of this race. We're under 50 laps to go. This next time by, it'll actually be 45 left to go, and Ricky Howell Jr. continuing to lead, and he's actually pulled away now, almost a full second now over Cody Gibson. Aaron Bennett sits in that second spot. Tim Matthews is fourth. Scott Simley now in that fifth spot. And we start to close in now towards the end of this thing. It's got that green feel. We've had some decently long green flag runs here tonight, and it's got that feel again now as everybody's pretty much spread wide out. And it has that possibility and that potential. There's no fuel issue. These guys should be able to make it to the end. But it is definitely have that feel that it could go green to the end here. Looking a little further back, quite a battle going on just inside the top 10. Ashton Crowder sits 8th right now, but he's got a mirror full of Steve Gottschalk as they go back into the corner.
Yeah, I think that's the highest that Ashton Crowder's been all day for at least a while, because he was at the front and then he quickly went back because he made a no tire, or he didn't take tires, and then he fell back pretty quick. Oh, we get contact with Steve Gottschalk. We got to start talking about people, because anybody we talk about is spinning out. We got that car spun out, but there's no caution yet. Because he's on the apron, he's going to pull out on the track and probably pull that caution. That's exactly what he did. He wanted that caution, so he pulled out.
Tried to back up just a little bit there to get back going straight, and that'll bring out the caution flag once again here on lap number 160. Ricky Howell Jr. continuing to lead now, and see if these guys, as the replay goes up on your screen, just a little bit of contact there for Steve Gottschalk. It was enough to put him down there, and pit road is open. Everybody coming back down pit road, and they don't need it for fuel. It's just for tires at this point, and we'll see if anybody tries this late in the race. Just a 2-tire stop. Ricky Howell Jr., the first one to his pit stall. He will only do right side tires, so that 2 truck deciding to go with that strategy here late in the going. This might be an opportunity for somebody else with 4 tires maybe to try to get around these guys. Cody Gibson as well takes 2 tires, so the top 2 guys here. Looks like Jamie Walker is going to come out in that 3rd spot. Hopefully he's got 4 tires on that thing, and maybe we'll see him be able to take that thing up, but it looks like 2 tires as well for Jamie Walker. So top 3, at least for the time being, have only 2 tires here as we get set. We're under our 7th caution of the night here, and you know what, that's probably a decent number. I've seen many more races here at this racetrack, and ones where we get up into the 15, 16, 17 cautions, and I think these guys have done a great job here tonight over the 162 laps that we are running, that we're only working caution number 7. So it's been a lot of good racing, a lot of green flag racing for these guys. It's been a pretty good show here tonight.
Oh, I completely agree, Andy. I mean, to have this few of cautions at a track that's notorious for having a lot of cautions, especially in iRacing, with any league that you join. I mean, it's just hard racing most of the time that you have incidents here, but Yeah, definitely a good job by these guys, and you've seen it. The entire race where you've seen guys make veteran moves to let faster cars by. You've seen drivers let out of the gas for a wreck, and you even see guys just pull just stunning moves just to avoid a possible accident and they're wheelmen right now, Andy. I think that's the best way to put it. Is they're all just doing a really good job. We got about 35 laps to go. This is definitely when it starts to get to crunch time, as I like to call it. I think I say that all the time, crunch time, and that's my thing. It's crunch time, and if you're a guy like the 68 of Scott Simley, you're going to start behind the 17 of Jamie Walker again. He probably took his reset there, so he's going to be full strength. And I think he took 2 tires, so that 17 probably isn't going to be slowing down anytime soon. And we've seen the 2-tire strategy work really well with some of these guys, especially that 2 car. The first 3, like you said, 2 tires, and everyone behind him is 4. So I think it's the battle versus the 2 versus the 4, and how long we go on a green flag that really determines that one.
When we start to close in now as the field double files up here, so when we get the green flag, we'll have 36 laps left to go. 36 laps will go by pretty quickly, so don't blink. You don't want to miss any of the action here as we close in on the finish of race number 7 of this 30-race season for the United Sim Racing Truck Series, their 2016 chase for the championship. Pace car now looking to the safety of pit road once again. That 2 truck, Ricky Howell Jr. on the gas, and he's out in front as he pulls out ahead of Cody Gibson, give him that top spot. Side-by-side battle for 3rd right now. Jamie Walker way down to the bottom. Still not going to be enough to get that 3rd spot as Aaron Bennett uses that top side, uses that momentum, and he'll gain that 3rd spot back. Jamie Walker now will fall into line into 4th. Side-by-side battle just behind him. Scott Simley and Tim Matthews now going at it for that 5th spot. Real close off of the quarter there, the 33. Almost getting into the wall there, almost making contact with the 17.
Oh, he did actually hit the wall
As well, and look at the battle down, a big contact up front, and Cody Gibson's going to go around, caution flag out again, caution number 8, and that 33 truck got into the back of him, and that was it. That was all she wrote for that 7 there, and a pretty good bump right there, I would say, by Aaron Bennett, and Aaron Bennett will probably get the EOL for that accident there, which will put him way back now and late in the race, and he'll have a lot of work to do to get back up towards the front.
Oh man, that was a bit of walking up the track. 7 car wasn't as close to the wall as he normally would have, but still, the 33 car should have definitely let out of it. He just kind of hooked him. I mean, he never got out of the throttle until he was, already perpendicular with the track. The 7 car has, substantial rear damage, and now, that's not going to be a big deal for the short run, but he's going to be at the back of the field, and he's been at the front the whole time. So, not something you wanted to see. Less of a racing deal, more of a mistake on that 33 car of pushing up the track, but definitely not something you wanted to see for that 7 car, because he was having such a great run. He's going to fall a lap down, and probably a little bit more if he doesn't have a reset available for him.
Absolutely. So a little bit of trouble. It's going to put Cody Gibson now a lap down in the 19th spot. Definitely not what he wanted after a solid run last week at Texas Motor Speedway. Jamie Walker, though, he's been able to avoid all of that, and he's up there now in the 2nd spot. He'll start outside of Ricky Howell Jr. this time, but Ricky Howell Jr., once he's gotten to the front, he's been a tough customer to get around. He's actually been pretty fast out there, almost the fastest truck out there, and it showed here so far, especially the second half of the race here. He's led a lot of laps here at the end. So started 14th, and once he's got to the front, he really hasn't looked back. So a good race so far for Ricky Howell Jr., and he's got a long way to go here. This time by, we'll get 30 laps to go. So there's still a lot of time for something to happen, something crazy to happen. It is Bristol, and usually something crazy always does happen when we come to this racetrack. It makes it quite interesting as well. Lights should go out this time by as the field makes its way down the front straightaway, and we'll let this field get double filed up again. We'll get this thing back under racing. 30 laps to go, 29 when we get the green flag, if everybody gets sorted out here, and like they're trying to, I think. A couple guys not really figuring out where they're supposed to be at the current moment, but that's all right. They'll get it all figured out Two cars that are still on the racetrack, but they are scored a couple laps down. Brian Cutts right now currently 18th, 19th is Cody Gibson. Two have retired from this race completely. That's the 91 of Steve Gottschalk now in 20th, and Todd Kirkwood, who had left about 105 laps ago. Pace car now, and, maybe not.
False caution.
One more time around, yeah. One more time around here, trying to get everybody sorted out here. Hopefully we can get this thing underway. It looks like everybody now is going to get ready, and we'll get this back underway here, closing in on the finish of this one here. We want to thank, of course, everyone that gets this done week in and week out. B&C Lawn and Landscaping Services, based out of Frankfort, Delaware. For all things on that, contact Aaron Bennett, 302-381-6073. Of course, who can forget Simlutions, the makers of everything you need for your rig and more esports, racing, and simulation solutions. Simlutions has got you covered. Off of turn number 4, pace car now going to duck to the safety. Ricky Al Jr. wasting no time. He's going to jump out to the race lead.
Yeah, he gets a pretty good lead right there as Scott Simley with the thorn in his side to his outside. He's going to try and get by him as soon as he can with that inside line, and that hasn't been too bad for that 68 truck, as he's been really we're pretty close on the exit of 4. We've talked about this Calamity Corner. We got Calamity Corner in a new corner. We got some huge wrecking in 2 and 3 and 1 and 2, and wow, that's all I got to say.
They all started with the 39 of Salicardi. It looked like they're going into turns number 1 and 2, and some contact with that 27 machine of Ashton Crowder. Looked like Crowder was trying to go to the inside, ended up just getting in the back of him. That pushed him around. We had about 4, 5, 6 trucks involved in that one, maybe 7 total, but it didn't look like too much heavy damage for everyone able to keep it going straight here. But we're under our 8th caution now on the night, and that's exactly what it's going to be when you get towards the end. Everybody trying to look to get every possible position they can before this race is over, and it makes for some the chances of a lot of cautions coming out at the end a very real possibility here. 25 to go, though, for the race leader, as he looks and fakes everybody, just about everybody fakes them down pit road here. So 25 laps to go, and we get a couple more of these cautions. We'll be talking the end of this race before you know it.
Oh, yeah, definitely. But look who actually kind of benefited from that caution coming out so soon. And the bottom line prevailed for the 68 truck of Scott Simley. I've been talking about him for a while, and I told you he was going to come to the front. This is the highest he's been all race. He hasn't led any time soon. And what better time to be at the front towards the end? It doesn't matter when you get there, as long as you can get there towards the end. Am I right? You know? This is a great time for that 68 truck to be up there, because he's on the outside. Even if he doesn't get a good jump on that number 2 car, he's probably going to stay there unless he gets a little bump from the 54. But a good position for him to be in on the start. You know, the best thing for him to do is get a good start, because it could be the last one. And you have to watch that 2 truck out of the left side of your truck. There's a little opening that you got, and depending on your field of view, you'll be able to see his right front. And as soon as you hear his motor gunning, you gotta go right there with him. I mean, that 2 car has jumped the start so much better than everybody this whole race, and hopefully he can't get the jump on the 68 for his cause, because he doesn't want that 17 car to blow past him on the bottom. Because he's been really good down there, especially with his truck new and improved in full bore.
Absolutely right on that, but a little programming note coming up all this week on LSRTV. We got all kinds of racing action, including tomorrow night, the Ascor's Pro Geek Consulting Cup Series gets back to the racetrack at Texas Motor Speedway, and we look forward to doing all that over again at 9 p.m. Eastern right here. And then, of course, Monday night, RSR Full Throttle Cup Series back in action after a week off, and they, too, hit to the Texas Motor Speedway. So the Cup Stars looking to get back at it again for the Full Throttle Cup. And not to mention the 98 truck car of Dave Washington coming off the big win, had 2 weeks to celebrate it. Now he's got to get back on the track and try to get it done at the mile and a half. And we'll see what those guys can do. And then, of course, Wednesday night, don't forget, the Ascor's Truck Series is off. That means we got some racing action anyway. We got the Sarah with their spring race here, an awesome short track event that'll be coming up this Wednesday night at 9 p.m. So make sure you tune in as well for that one. And there's racing action all week long on LSRTV. Of course, you can see that full schedule at livesimracing.com on the web. Well, we're getting close to the end of this one here. Working lap number 179 as the pace car looks like it heads down to the safety of pit road. We'll have 21 laps left to go. A little delayed start there this time for Ricky Howell Jr., but it still gives him the advantage of truck length now over Scott Simley, as Scott Simley will take over that second spot with that high line, with that momentum, and he's looking to bring the 54 of Tim Matthews alongside. Stuck to the bottom, though, that's Jamie Walker, and the 33 of Aaron Bennett now as they race their way back into turn number 1 and 2.
Yeah, Jamie Walker is really making the bottom work like I told you he would. You know, he's getting under these guys a little more and a little more aggressive as we go, but it's not working so well. So everyone's got to check up a little bit. That 66 truck of Brian Harvey is gonna really benefit a little bit from that. He's gonna go under the 33, but he should probably move up here in turn 3 if he wants to keep his spot. But yeah, this is the spot to watch, because this is gonna be where the mayhem is gonna happen, if it is gonna happen here, Andy. It's getting a little rough and getting a little bit of heart pounding here in the last 15 laps coming up.
Yeah, definitely will as we close in on that point. Pretty good battle, though, for that third spot. Aaron Bennett, Tim Matthews, caution back out on the speedway for the 10th time here tonight, and we'll see if we can not get it. Looks like the 39 of Salicardi involved in that one again. About the third or fourth time we've seen that 39 have some problems, and looks like him and the 15 of Paul Madison there making some contact down the back straightaway as they went into turn number 3. Got a little piece of that right rear quarter, turned them up into the wall there, so a couple more trucks with some heavy damage here late in the going, but it looks like the 39 of 15 of Ricky Howell, of Paul Madison, I should say, will go towards the back of the field. The field, though, getting caught up to the pace car. None of the leaders heading down pit road this time, and why not? Track position, all that important, especially this late in the race. Jamie Walker's fallen back from being up there on that front row the last 2 restarts, and now he's just basically trying to survive at this point, trying to get the best possible position as the points leader. Tim Matthews looking to cut into that points lead, which was only 11 points coming into tonight. And right now, currently, he's got about 2 spots on him, so that'll give him a couple spots. He hasn't led a lap, though, so Jamie Walker has, so that'll obviously only give you about a 1-point advantage here for Tim Matthews, but that's still what you need to do to at least keep pace for the time being early in the season here. So we got tons and tons of racing still left to go all season long. Ricky Howell Jr., Scott Simley, make up your front row. They did just that last time again. Scott Simley didn't allow him to get away too far, but he also, at the same time, didn't really seem like he had much as far as speed to keep up with the 2 of Ricky Howell. He has definitely been the class of the field the second half of the race. Yeah,
I think if we had to pick somebody to win this race, I think both of our answers would be the same with that number 2 truck, Ricky Howell. He's been pretty good this whole race here, Andy. If you're different in opinion, then I'd like to hear it.
No, I just everyone I pick always crashes. So usually when I pick someone, whenever I pick somebody to win, I'll probably, like at this point, I would maybe pick the 98 of Steve Herring to get the win. So.
Well, I have been a little siding with Scott Simley. That's no doubt. I think it's kind of obvious. I really like his driving right here. If I had to pick somebody that was going to upset it, I think that would be Scott Simley. I think he's got a pretty good line on this outside. I think he has a little more of a long run mentality and style for this kind of track, which is definitely not Ricky Howell. He goes to the front, and then he kind of makes it stick on a long run anyway. So it's a short run. That's the 2-car specialty, it looks like. So it looks like it's his race to lose at this point.
Well, definitely is. He's definitely in the prime spot to get it done here tonight. They cross the start-finish line. We'll have 13 laps to go. And remember, it starts putting us into that point here, the point of no return. Once we get around to that, about 5 laps to go, we would be racing either for the checkered flag or the yellow flag, since we do not have any overtime possibility here with the iRacing server. So Ricky Howell Jr., just what he's got to do is at least stay out up front until that 5-lap mark. And if a caution comes out, it doesn't matter at that point either. So we'll see if we can finish this one out under the green flag conditions here as the Field works their way through 3 and 4 one more time here. Looks like the pace car will duck back down to pit road. Not wasting any time. Ricky Howell Jr. on the gas. He's going to leave a side-by-side battle for that second spot. Scott Simley should be able to get it with the momentum off of turn number 2. But look at that 54, digging hard on the inside, making it happen here late in the race. Trying to get that second spot as they continue to do battle off of turn number 4. Across the start-finish line that time, have 11 laps left to go.
Yeah, we saw that 33 truck of Aaron Bennett. He was in the wall a little bit, but it doesn't matter. He's going right back up there to that top forward, and he's going to be right on the back deck with Tim Matthews here soon. And ouch! I got to stop talking about people. They're spinning out.
Aaron Bennett caution out now, and I think it's for that 33 truck off of turn number 4. Gets into the wall, spins himself out, and that will be our 10th caution now on the night here at Bristol. Gives us the opportunity, though, for at least one more restart. Ricky Howell Jr. will blame Austin for that one, and we'll tell Aaron that as well, too, after the race. So I'm sure he'll be happy with us here in the booth. But that's why I don't pick anybody.
See, that's your curse. See, your curse is picking people.
LSRTV
Mine is
curse,
just talking about people. I can't talk about anybody.
Too much. Anyway, it gives some opportunity for some of these other guys now to maybe give a chance to get up towards the front, as Tim Matthews now up to that third spot here, as we'll try to get this thing underway again. With that 8 laps left to go here now, as they're still under the caution flag, pacing around. Tom Dryerling, good run for that driver, sitting 5th right now, and started 20th, second to last on the grid here this evening, but he did a great job, and at the perfect point of the race decided to stay out, got himself the track position. It was exactly what he needed, and since then he's been right there around between 10th and 5th all night, so he's got an opportunity to get a top 5 finish here tonight, which will be a good move for that driver here this early in the season. A good finish, good momentum, good chance for these guys to gain some ground as we look ahead to the schedule here. Crossing the line this time, 7 to go, and like at least 1, maybe 2 more laps here under the caution flag before we get this going. So we get one more opportunity now for a restart in this one, and it should be a lot of fun, and we'll see if we can not maybe get this one to finish us out under the green flag.
Oh, I bet you somebody who's going to be hungrier than ever is Scott Simley. And, that 54 of Tim Matthews, he was kind of surprisingly there underneath that 68 truck. And, I know he may not get the win, but he may possibly advance his position if we're under another, similar situation like last time. But the 2 car really has a really good hold right now, I think. He's got the advantage by starting whenever he wants to, which can always catch somebody off guard. He went really late 2 cautions ago, or 2 restarts ago. In that last caution, he went pretty early. So you just gotta wonder what you're thinking if you're the car behind him, and you have to play that game almost of when is he gonna go, the when is he gonna go game, because that's a hard one to play, especially in second. That's one of the hardest places to be on these restarts, and to be watching your mirror, to be watching to your left, and to be hopefully not spinning your tires, because that's always something we do tend to forget about, is spinning your tires, as these tires are pretty dang old. I think the last time we pitted was at least 40 laps ago, if I'm not wrong, maybe even more. But yeah, this is going to be the last restart of the race here, Andy, and really, a lot of outcomes could happen, because we've seen some aggressive driving by that 68 truck and that 17, and they're right next to each other. So, I think this is going to be a really good finish here.
It absolutely should be. A field getting stacked up, 5 laps to go, 4 when we get the green flag this next time by. So, a little 4-lap shootout. Look at Chris Baines in the 82 up to 8th here. Late in the going. He was down a lap or 2 early in this race, but he's battled back pretty hard there. So, great run for Chris Baines, like an opportunity to get a top 10 out of this one here tonight. Bristol, 200 laps. Well, we're down to 4 now as we get set to get the green flag back underway. The pace car now to the safety of pit road, and once again, that 2 truck, pretty good jump. Oh, it looks like 60-80 has spun his tires, or possibly missed a shift. That's going to give Tim Matthews the opportunity to get that second spot. He's got him clear off of turn number 2.
and he's in a great position. He's got to run the wheels off that thing if he's going to catch that 2 car, and the 68's got to be kicking himself for that because that was the last thing he wanted to do. I'm pretty sure it was a missed shift, but it could have been tire spin. But either way, he's definitely lost a lot of ground.
Definitely has. This next time by, we'll get the 2 laps to go here at Bristol, and Tim Matthews doing everything he possibly can to get around and get up to that 2 of Ricky Howell. Ricky Howell's just been too strong late in the going here in this race. Scott Simley now in that 3rd spot as they exit turn number 4. They'll get the white flag one more time. Half a mile left to go in this one. Jamie Walker now for that 4th spot. Oh, he makes contact with Tommy Ryan. That'll move him up into that 4th spot. Definitely not what he wanted to do. That's going to cause some problems for the guys behind. But off of turn number 4, Ricky Howell Jr., he'll win at Bristol.
Wow, what an amazing race by that Ricky Howell team. He definitely had a huge grip on that team, but I want to talk about those guys that just got wrecked. I mean, that's a really big bummer. As they're going to go to the end of the longest, or not end of the longest line, but just the end of the the end of the of whoever was on the lead lap. As I know, a lot of those guys were caught up that were running really well towards the end of that race.
We got the replay going up on your screen of the 6 of Tommy Ryan. Definitely not what Jamie Walker wanted to do. We know how much of a clean driver he is. Just hard racing there at the end of the race, just trying to preserve what you could for your positions or try to get everything you possibly can. So I'd call it a racing deal right there. Just a poor bad luck for that 6 of Tommy Ryan. That'll shoot him way down outside the top 10 for the finish of this one. Ricky Howell Jr., though, coming up big. First win on the season for that number 2, and we'll get to talk to him and the rest of your top 3 as the post-race show gets underway right after this as we take a step aside just for a moment. You're watching the United Sim Racing Truck Series right here on LSRTV, the voice of sim racing. Welcome back to Bristol Motor Speedway. We just concluded the Food City 200 for the United Sim Racing Truck Series, a 2016 chase for the championship. Quite an awesome race. It was a pretty clean race for the most part here all night long, but Ricky Howell Jr. coming across as the winner here tonight. Pretty much dominated this race, the second half of it. We'll talk to him and the rest of the top 3 in just a moment. We'll go through our full field rundown, though, first. Ricky Howell Jr., of course, with the win. Tim Matthews, a solid second-place finish for him. Scott Simley, a great job as well, finishing 3rd. Jamie Walker will rebound and finish in that 4th spot. 5th goes to Brian Harvey. Michael Priester will finish 6th. 7th goes to Chris Baines. Greg Mall will finish 8th. 9th, Paul Madison and George Hendricks will round out the top 10.
The carnage unloaded behind them as Aaron Bennett finishes 11th. Ashton Crowder finishes 12th. Tom Dreiling finishes 13th. Tommy Ryan and Paul Fugate had a drag race with blown engines, finishing 14th and 15th. Salacardi finishes 16th. Stephen Herring finishes 17th. Brian Cutts finishes 18th, 32 laps down. Cody Gibson finishes 19th, 33 laps down. Steve Gottschalk finishes 42 laps down in 20th, and Todd Kirkwood ended the night very early and finishes 21st. That is your full field rundown, and I think Andy is caught up with our winner in Victory Lane.
I am down here in Victory Lane getting a Gatorade bath of sorts, getting a little bit wet down here, but I am catching up with our race winner here on the night. Of course, that is the 2 of Ricky Howell Jr., and congratulations, Ricky, your first win of the season. Talk us through that one.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. I knew in practice we had a fast truck. We got out there running with Aaron Bennett and a couple of other guys, and it seemed like we was pretty fast, and we slipped up in qualifying coming off of 4 and got the wall on the first lap, so we had to run with their second lap, start at 14th. But we had to drive pretty aggressively there early because I knew early, man, we had to do something while you had fresh tires, because if not, you got stuck up in that high line and you couldn't go nowhere.
Yeah, you were one of the only drivers, really. I mean, a lot of guys tried that bottom lane, but you were one of the only ones that were able to at least make it successful on the fresh tires, at least in the opening parts of the run. But it took you a little while to get up to that top spot. But once you did, you never looked back. You pretty much dominated the second half of this race. And for you, pit stops, everything were spot on for you. You chose 2 tires at the right times as well. And once, even when you had to restart second or third, it didn't take you long to get that top spot back. Definitely had a really fast truck here tonight. And one of those racetracks is tough to pass. It's hard to pass. You know that top lane is going to be the fastest, but you stuck with it on the bottom side. It definitely worked for you.
Yeah, I made a couple runs there in practice, about 20, 30 lap runs to see how 2 tires would work, and they seemed like they held off pretty good. My lap times didn't drop off too awful far on them on 2, which is a big surprise because most of the time they fall off pretty bad. But overall, man, it's awesome to get a win here. I love racing at this place. I'd like to give a shout out to my buddy Jack Pellicker, James Mullis, Brandon Cheriton. They helped me out. KBM Motorsports, and just glad to bring this thing home in one piece tonight.
Well, that you did. You got yourself the victory here at Bristol. And talk about next week, though. We go from one of the shortest tracks to one of the biggest. We head to Talladega. That should be a lot of fun as well. Yeah,
well, I'm looking forward to running there. You know, we got a bunch of good guys running in this league here. So I think we'll have quite a few green laps there. I mean, a lot of people think it's probably going to somewhat be a wreck fest, but I got a lot of trust in these guys that run in here, man. They're a bunch of good drivers, and I believe we're going to have a lot of green flag runs there.
Well, Andy, I've caught up with Tim Matthews of the number 54 with the 54 truck. Tim, you were in 3rd place on the last restart, but it seemed like the 68 truck of Scott Simley had either missed his shift or spun his tires. Go through with us what was going up on that last lap with you in that Chevy Silverado.
Yeah, I just tried to time it. You know, that's all restarts are, really. Just try to hit it just right with the leader, and I think maybe Scott got caught sleeping a little bit, and that allowed me to get out in front of him and get that second spot.
Yeah, we saw that you were kind of a sleeper in the middle of the pack towards the middle of that race. In the beginning of the race, you were towards the back of the field. Talk with us of how you got up to the top of the field after starting with the provisional.
Well, I mean, historically, Bristol has been one of my worst tracks. I'm not a short track guy, so I come into this week with low expectations. Smacked the wall. I didn't start on provisional on purpose. I smacked the wall on qualifying lap, so it didn't post. So I just thought I'm going to ride in the back, see how this plays out, and try to get a feel for this track. And about halfway through the race, something just clicked. I started to find the groove that I needed. So I think I did a 2-tire strategy just to get some track position, and then after that, it all just kind of played into my hand.
With about 90 laps in practice, 2 laps in qualifying, and then about 100 laps. It looks like about 200 laps it finally clicked, but it didn't matter because it came in eventually to you in the race, and that's when it counts. with that last final laps, did you have anything for Ricky Howell? Or we know you were trying your butt off trying to get through those corners as fast as possible. What kept you from getting the win tonight? I mean, you were really fast, but was it something with getting into the corner, or was it your tires, or what was it?
No, I think he was a little bit better. I closed in on him there one time, maybe with 3 to go, and I thought maybe I've got a shot, but every turn after that, he kind of pulled me just a little bit more. So he was the better truck. He deserved the win, and I'm just happy. To be honest, I'm happy to come home with second. I didn't think I'd even get a top 10 tonight, so I'm pretty satisfied with that.
Well, you talk about how these tracks aren't aren't the best for you, but you're probably going to a track where you're going to be liking a lot more. It's big, it's a couple miles long, and it's Talladega, baby. It's about 3 lanes wide, and you can go 3, sometimes 4 wide. So I'm sure you're excited for that.
Well, I love plate racing. I think whether they'll admit it or not, most people do like it. It's a little frustrating at times, but it's a lot like Bristol in a way, a strange way. It's a lot of times you're boxed in, you don't know where to go. It's really hard to get up through the field, but at least you have options there. It's going to be a fun week next week.
Indeed, it will be. Well, you bring the number 54 Wildcats LSRTV truck to silver. Is there anyone you want to thank before you get out here?
I just always, when I get on the podium, I always thank my wife. She allows me to do it, so she's my big supporter, teammate, and always give a shout out to you guys. I love watching the broadcast. You do an awesome job.
Well, thank you for supporting us. We see it on your truck. And that is Tim Matthews, number 54 truck. He finishes out second, just shy of making it to the top spot, but definitely a good podium spot. As we'll send it down to Andy. I think he's caught up with the number 68 truck of Scott Simley.
I am down here on pit road, and I have caught up with the driver of the number 68. It's Scott Simley. And Scott, it looked like a second place finish was in the books there, but that final restart got you there. I don't know if you missed a shift or spun the tires, but walk us through those last few laps.
Yeah, I screwed up the start. He got a jump on me, and then I just missed second. It just didn't, kind of hesitated a little bit, but and then just coming into the corner because he was already on the inside, I stayed in a little longer and just kind of got a little snug, and yeah, I let it slip away. That was probably my chance, but I really thought we had a truck to win tonight. It's just we couldn't get the green flag runs. There was a chance there. I was starting on the outside where it just took a few laps for the truck to come in and where it felt good, but I could taste it tonight. It was close.
Well, that it was, but finishing up front like this week after week, the wins will eventually come. Bristol, it's a tough place, small track, tough to pass at. You were able to get the job done. You started up and towards the front of the field. You were able to keep it there most of the night and then come home with the podium finish at least. But next week we go to a totally different venue. When you talk about racetracks, you go to Talladega, and that should be a lot of fun as well.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Well, with that place looming on the works next Saturday night, we get a third place finish for you, Scott. Shout out sponsors. Who helps you get here?
I got to thank Hippie's Paint Shop, Cody Gibson and Aaron Bennett over there, all here at USR. They do a good job. Simlutions for sponsoring this year. That's pretty cool. You got to check out RSR too. There's some good racing going on over there as of late. And LSRTV, again, great job. And you guys in the booth, thanks again.
We appreciate it, and thank you, Scott, for putting it down. And of course, we will see you in 2 nights' time, Monday night, with the Full Throttle Cup Series. So good luck in that as well. But now we're finally gotten to that point. Bristol's over. All I guess the nerves have all calmed down. The temperatures have fallen as far as underneath the helmets of these drivers, and they're able to walk away. A pretty good race, a real decent race. Not as many cautions maybe as a lot of people suspect to happen at a place like this, which could typically happen. But I think overall these guys had a really good race here tonight. And, up until probably the last 30 laps or so, last 40 laps, that's when we started seeing them start to pile in. But, of course, that's when it's going to happen, because everybody's trying to push the issue instead of just riding around. They're going to want to try to get every single position. You don't want to let them go if you can't, if you can avoid that at that point there. So It's been a lot of fun, Austin. No final thoughts before we check out of this place?
Oh, I totally have to agree with you on the fact that these guys were definitely racing very clean. Definitely a league that's demands clean racing, and it's good to see that these drivers are caring and passionate about that. When someone does make a mistake, like we saw late in the race, it's not just like an oh well thing. That's something that you do worry about, and you don't want to upset your fellow competitors for weeks to come. I think that was a cool thing to do. We saw a lot of really respectful racing tonight, and really there's a good combination of hard and respectful racing, which is that always proves for good racing, regardless of where you race at. That's going to prove to have some really good racing, and it was a good race tonight.
It absolutely was. And of course, we give the drivers the opportunity to thank their sponsors. We want to thank ours as well, B&C Lawn and Landscape Service LLC, based in Frankfort, Delaware. Check out B&C for all your landscaping needs, including turf care, mulching, snow removal, and more. Professionally licensed and insured. Contact Aaron Bennett at BC_lawn_and_landscaping at yahoo.com, and of course at 302-381-6073. And of course, we can't forget about our friends over there at Simulation Solutions, makers of everything you need for your rig and more, esports, racing, and simulation solutions. Simlutions got you covered with news, builds, and more. Like them on Facebook at facebook.com/Simlutions, a proud sponsor, of course, of that Play Seat Racing rig prize that they all fought for so hard in the first 6 races that Jamie Walker was able to pick up after last week's race. For all of us at LSRTV, we want to thank you for tuning in, and you can stay up to date with us, of course, at livesimracing.com. Check out a full broadcast schedule as we go to Texas the next 2 nights right here at 9 p.m. Eastern. And for all of us at LSRTV, including myself, Andy Kessler, Austin Coop, and Francisco Scaramuza, well, thank you all for tuning in tonight for the United Sim Racing Truck Series 2016 Chase for the Championship. We're out of here from Bristol. We'll see you next Saturday night right here. Same place, same time, except we'll be at Talladega.